The Arizona sun was dying in the west, melting into shades of crimson and gold that kissed the horizon before fading into shadow. The desert wind carried whispers of the day gone by, brushing through the dry grass and rattling the old wooden fences of Hollow Creek Ranch. Inside the wide, lonely stretch of land, Ryder Cole, a rancher of few words and many scars, walked his horse back toward the stables. His hat tilted low, boots crunching against the gravel. The sound of his spurs echoed softly like a rhythm of forgotten years. Ryder wasn't a man who smiled much. Life had burned that habit out of him long ago. He had built this ranch with his own hands. Every fence post, every nail, every sunrise he faced alone. But that evening, something in the wind changed. It carried not the scent of sand or sweat, but of fear and a woman's voice. It was faint, almost a whisper carried through the canyon. "Help me, please." Ryder froze. The voice came again, softer this time, trembling like a prayer. Without a second thought, he swung onto his horse and rode toward the sound. The trail led him down to the river bend, where the water glimmered faintly beneath the moonlight. There, tangled among the reeds, was a woman. Torn dress, bruised hands, and eyes wide with desperation. She was breathing fast like she had been running for miles. Ryder jumped off the saddle and knelt beside her. "Ma'am, you hurt?" She looked up, her voice broken but strong enough to say the words that would change everything. "Don't let them take me back. Please, help me. Claim me tonight if you have to, but don't let them find me." Ryder's heart thudded. Her words made no sense, yet they struck deep, something raw and pleading in her tone. "Who's after you?" he asked. She glanced back toward the dark ridge, trembling. "They'll be here soon. My stepbrother. He sold me to a man in town. Said I was debt payment. I ran. If they see me with you, your name, your protection, they won't touch me. But if you don't..." Her voice cracked. Ryder stood silent for a long moment. He didn't believe in destiny, not anymore. But looking at her, covered in dust and moonlight, something inside him stirred. "What's your name?" he asked quietly. "Anna," she breathed. "Anna Whitlock." He helped her to her feet. Her ankles were bleeding, her eyes wide with fear and tears she refused to shed. "Come on," he said firmly. "You're safe here now." He took her back to his ranch, every shadow along the way whispering danger. When they reached the porch, Anna paused, hesitant, like she was stepping into a place she didn't deserve to belong. Ryder noticed that. "You're shaken." "You need rest," he said, his voice low, calm like the night wind. "I don't need rest," she whispered. "I need to disappear." Her words hung heavy. He led her inside, a simple wooden cabin lit by the soft glow of a lantern. The fire cracked in the hearth, chasing away the chill. She stood by it, arms wrapped around herself, while he poured her some water. "Drink." She obeyed. And for the first time since he found her, she looked at him. Really looked. The man before her was tall, rough around the edges, with a face that told stories without words. He carried the air of someone who'd seen too much, and still chose silence over bitterness. "Why are you helping me?" she asked softly. He shrugged. "Guess I ain't the kind who can ride past someone begging for help." "You don't even know me." "I don't need to." She lowered her gaze, biting her lip. "They'll come tonight. If they find me here." "They won't," he cut her off. "Nobody comes to Hollow Creek without my say." But Anna wasn't convinced. She walked to the window, peering out into the moonlit desert. "If they do, you'll be in danger because of me." Ryder stepped closer, his voice steady. "Lady, Danger and I've been acquainted for a long time." Her breath caught. There was something in the way he said it, something that made her heart ache. The fire flickered, throwing golden light across the room. Silence stretched between them, heavy, charged, unspoken. Finally, Anna whispered, "If they come, and they ask who I am, say I'm yours. Say you claimed me." Ryder stared at her. The words hung like gunpowder in the air, ready to spark something neither of them expected. "You don't know what you're asking, Anna," he said, his voice low, rough. "I do," she replied, eyes locked on his. "Because if you don't, they'll drag me back, and I'd rather die here than go with them." He looked away, jaw tightening. For a man who'd spent years fighting his own demons, he never thought another soul's pain could cut deeper than his own. But hers did. Outside, the wind picked up, a storm brewing somewhere in the distance. Ryder took a deep breath. All right. If it comes to that, you'll be under my name. But only till you're safe, you hear? She nodded slowly. Thank you. He gave a faint nod, turned toward the door and checked his rifle. You should rest. I'll keep watch. But as the hours passed, Anna couldn't sleep. Every creak of the floorboards, every howl of the wind made her flinch. She kept seeing faces in the dark. Cruel, greedy faces that had haunted her for months. Finally she rose, wrapped in a thin blanket, and stepped onto the porch. Ryder was there, leaning against a post, hat low, eyes scanning the darkness. You should be inside, he said without looking at her. I can't sleep, she whispered. He turned slightly, the firelight from inside glinting off his eyes. You're safe here, Anna. Am I? She asked, voice trembling. Because it doesn't feel like it. Not yet. Their eyes met, silence again, heavier than before. And then the sound, hoofbeats. Ryder's hand went to his gun instantly. Inside, he said. Anna froze. It's them. Go, he barked, pushing her gently toward the door. But before she could move, voices echoed across the field. Rough, angry men shouting her. Nia. Ryder stepped forward, rifle raised. You've got one chance to turn around, he warned into the night. No answer. Only the sound of hooves drawing closer. Anna's breath quickened. Ryder, please. He looked back at her, jaw set, eyes burning with something fierce. Get inside, Anna. Tonight no one touches you. Not while I'm standing. The men reached the gate. And as the storm rolled in, thunder splitting the sky, Ryder Cole, the quiet rancher of Hollow Creek, prepared to defend a woman who had walked out of the desert and into his life like a wildfire. And deep down, though neither of them said it aloud, both knew. Tonight, the storm broke over Hollow Creek Ranch like the heavens themselves were at war. Thunder rolled across the open plains, lightning flashed over the wooden fences, and the rain fell hard, washing the dust and sins of the land into the earth. Ryder Cole stood firm at the front gate, rifle raised, his hat soaked through with rain. The men who came for her, 4 of them, sat on their horses, faces hidden beneath slick oilskin coats and cruel grins. One of them spat into the mud. Evening, Cole. Word is you're harboring something that don't belong to you. Ryder didn't blink. Ain't harboring nothing, but you're trespassing on my land. Another man, big and loud, smirked. That girl's got a debt to pay. Belongs to Mr. Cutter now. You hand her over, we walk away. Ryder's jaw tightened. Mr. Cutter buys cattle, not people. The men shifted in their saddles. Tension cracked like the lightning above. Then the one in front leaned forward. You hand her over or we take her. Ain't that simple? Ryder's voice turned to steel. She's under my protection now. And just like that, the night exploded. The first shot rang out, sharp and thunderous. A bullet grazed Ryder's shoulder, but he didn't flinch. He returned fire, his rifle echoing through the storm. One man fell from his horse into the mud. Another scrambled for cover behind a wagon. Anna screamed from inside the house, hands pressed to her mouth. She wanted to run to him, but fear chained her to the floor. The gunfire outside mixed with the howling wind. Chaos and courage dancing together. Ryder ducked behind a fence post, reloaded and fired again. Another man went down. But one, the leader, slipped past, rushing toward the cabin. Anna's heart nearly stopped. The door burst open and a shadow filled the room. She stumbled backward as the man grabbed her wrist. Thought you could run, didn't you, girl? He hissed. Let me go, she cried, struggling. Mr. Cutter don't like being cheated. He yanked her close, raising his pistol. But before he could fire, a hand slammed his arm aside. Ryder. He grabbed the man by the collar, slammed him against the wall. You don't touch her, he growled, voice low, deadly. The man sneered. You think she's yours now? You think that means something? Ryder's eyes burned like wildfire. Yeah, tonight it means everything. And then one final gunshot echoed. The man fell. Silence followed, heavy and endless. Rain poured through the doorway. Anna stood frozen, tears mixing with the storm water on her face. Her hands shook as she looked at Ryder, the man who had just risked everything for her. He turned to her slowly, chest heaving, the rifle still smoking. "You all right?" he asked, voice hoarse. She nodded, unable to speak. He winced and pressed a hand to his bleeding shoulder. She ran to him instantly. "You're hurt." "Just a scratch," he muttered. "No, you're bleeding." She tore a strip from her torn dress and pressed it against his wound. Her hands trembled, but she held on. "Why did you do it?" He looked at her, rain dripping from his hat, eyes soft now, vulnerable. "'Cause you asked me to." That broke something inside her. A sob escaped her lips as she whispered, "No one's ever done that before. No one's ever stayed." Ryder reached out, brushing his rough thumb across her cheek. "Maybe you just never found someone worth staying for." Lightning flashed again, and their faces inches apart. The air between them burned with something neither could name but both could feel. Anna's voice trembled. "Ryder, you saved me. But what happens now?" He sighed, looking out toward the storm. "They'll come again. Maybe not tomorrow, but soon. Cutter's not the kind to forget." "Then take me away," she said softly. "Wherever you go, I'll go." Ryder's brow furrowed. "You sure about that? Ain't much life out there, just dirt, danger, and a man who ain't got much to offer." She shook her head. "You have something no one else does." He looked down at her, confused. "What's that?" Her voice was barely a whisper. "A soul?" For a moment neither spoke. The storm eased, the thunder rolling away into the distance. The silence that followed was deep, not empty, but alive. Ryder took a slow breath, his eyes never leaving hers. "Anna Whitlock, you turned my quiet life into a war, and I ain't sure I ever want to go back." She smiled faintly through her tears. "Then don't." He stared at her. Every wall he'd ever built crumbling one by one. Then in that fragile, rain-soaked moment he pulled her close. She melted into him. No words, no promises. Just the raw truth of two souls who found each other in the wild. The night that was meant to end in fear turned into something unforgettable. When dawn broke, the land was calm again. Smoke rose from the campfire, and the storm had washed the desert clean. Anna stood on the porch, wrapped in Ryder's coat. Watching the sunrise paint the sky gold, Ryder came up behind her, silent as ever. "They're gone," he said quietly. "Took the bodies, rode off before first light. Guess word'll spread soon enough that Hollow Creek ain't the place to come looking for trouble." Anna turned to face him. "And me? What happens to me now?" He took off his hat, rubbing the back of his neck. "That's up to you. You're free now." She looked at him for a long moment, eyes full of something deeper than gratitude. "Free," she repeated softly. "But freedom don't feel right without a reason to stay." Ryder smiled faintly, the kind of smile that carried more emotion than 1,000 words. "You ain't owe me nothing, Anna. Not your time, not your heart." She stepped closer, placing her hand against his chest, right where his heart beat strong beneath the scarred skin. "What if I want to owe you?" He froze, looking down at her. She continued, voice steady now. "You didn't just save my life, Ryder. You gave me back my soul. Maybe that's something I can return." He caught her hand gently. "You don't have to." "I know," she whispered, "but I want to." And then, as the morning sun rose over the desert, casting golden light across the ranch, Ryder Cole, the quiet rancher who had once lived alone with his ghosts, kissed the woman who had walked out of the wilderness and into his heart. It wasn't the kind of kiss born of need. It was born of truth, of two broken people finding peace in each other. The world around them disappeared. No debts, no danger, no past. Just the endless horizon and the start of something new. When they finally pulled apart, Anna smiled softly. "So, I guess this ranch ain't so lonely anymore." Ryder chuckled, a sound rare and warm. "Guess not." And as the wind whispered across Hollow Creek, the two of them stood there, two souls bound not by fate but by choice. That night would stay with them forever, not because of fear, but because love, real love, had found its way through the storm.